afternoon. My name is Oliver Messelmond. I am a registered OIC Level 3 advisor, or should I say OIC IAA registered advisor at Level 3. I have been for many years, and I am senior immigration lawyer at GS and Immigration. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the bell icon so that you can continue to watch our extremely interesting videos about UK visa and immigration advice. Now, today's topic, I'm going to make it more interesting than usual, which of course is what everybody wants. Mr. Shah, last time I asked you, could President, as he now is President Trump, could he acquire or apply for British citizenship? Do you have a yes or a no?
I still have a yes answer to the application, but no answer to the outcome.
Mr. Shah, like always, it's a very complicated answer. Listen, I will tell you this. Anyone can apply for anything. The question is, what are the chances of success? Now, his mother, as we all know, was Scottish. She was a British national, as far as we know, British otherwise than by descent. She was born there. He might, on the face of it, he might have a good claim, but did you read in the media, he has a recent criminal conviction. Mm-hmm. He didn't get put in prison, but that was because of some things or whatever. I'd like to suggest he might fail in his British citizenship application. Maybe he doesn't need it, but you never know what happens, you know. We know today, we don't know tomorrow. We don't know. I want to actually read you some things from the, it's not from the law, it's from the Home Office policy guidance. It's about British nationality applications. It says, a person must be refused if they have a custodial sentence of less than 12 months or a non-custodial sentence or out-of-court disposal recorded on the criminal record. Well, he has, hasn't he?
Yeah.
You read the media, he's got some bad stuff there. Mm-hmm. It's very confusing because he's got so many cases going on, but at least one of them, he's got, he's a, as they say in America, he's a felon. Mm. Not a word that we use, but that they use that. So I think the way that it goes, the law is a bit complicated. A person must be refused if they have a non-custodial sentence or out-of-court disposal recorded on the criminal record and you are not satisfied on the balance of probabilities that they are of good character. It means what it means, but I think Donald might get refused for that. So Donald, don't try it. You don't need it anyway. You've got a good job and good situation in the US. I would say you don't need it. Don't worry about it. Just carry on, do your job. We wish you the best.
I wish you the best.
Another question, Mr. Shah. He thinks, or they think, or people, he wants to make a visit to the UK as the US president. He'll come as a visitor, won't he? Mm-hmm. He's not going to apply for a visa, you know, like a working visa or study visa. He's going to come as a visitor. Mm. Could he be refused at the border?
I would say he would probably come with a diplomatic passport.
Correct.
Hence, he wouldn't be refused.
You are exactly correct. Head of state, you are exempt from the immigration laws. So that's it. Donald, we offer you congratulations on your successful attempt to be president again. You are, I think, about one of the second presidents in American history to have a second attempt non-consecutive. I think you're the second one. That was quite an achievement. Mm. You're the only president who is a felon, but American law doesn't say anything about it. You can be a felon and it's fine. So good luck, Donald. Please do come as a visitor. You're exempt. If you want to instruct us on your British citizenship application, you can, but probably not very strong. But we may charge you special fees. Maybe higher or lower, but you know, that's it. I want to turn to something a bit more serious, if that's the word. British citizenship. We've touched on this before. I want to go into a bit more depth and detail. Can you be deprived of your British citizenship if you have it or you think you have it? Well, yes. I'm sure that many people have been reading the media. Shamima Begum case, I'm sure that people have been reading this. It's big news, isn't it? It got very complicated. She was born a British citizen somewhere in London. She was British by birth. She didn't have any other particular connections to anywhere. Her parents, I think, were of Bangladeshi origin, but at least one of her parents must have been British or settled, otherwise she wouldn't be a British citizen. She was born a British citizen, born and bred British citizen. At a young age, 15, which is pretty young, isn't it? She went to Syria, joined this ISIL, which is deemed to be a bad, nasty terrorist organisation. Because she was there and she did what she did, the British Home Secretary, at that time, Sergeant Javed, he deprived her of her British citizenship, or at least he attempted to. He made the order, the decision. You know, I'm sure, it went all through the courts, all the way up to the Supreme Court. The court said that the decision was acceptable. They didn't say it was a good decision. They said that the decision was acceptable. It was not legally wrong. They could have kind of funny issues. I remember this case. I was alive by then. You know, this funny case. First, Bangladeshi government says no. She's not entitled to British. She's not entitled to citizenship. And then they said, oh well, okay, maybe she is, but she's not allowed to come into this country. We refuse to give her leave to come into this country, which I think probably they can. She didn't have any other status. British government took away her British citizenship. She didn't have anything else. That was it. She was living in some sort of horrible camp in northeast Syria, a camp connected with ISIL, as it was, ISIS, same sort of thing. She pretty much lost everything. British government said, because you've joined a really bad organisation, we can deprive you of your British citizenship because you have another citizenship, or you have the possibility of applying for another, acquiring another citizenship. It got a bit strange and complicated. It went through a couple of years, did it not? The British courts decided that the Home Secretary's opinion was correct. She held or was entitled to have or apply for Bangladeshi citizenship up to the age, a certain age. She didn't. The Secretary of State's decision was correct. They said that they gave some sort of hints. Was it fair or good or nice? But maybe not. But that's not the issues that we have. Was the decision fair, correct? Was it legally correct? They said, yes, it was. So that's the end of it. Now, got to the Supreme Court. Her lawyers were saying that, we're going to take European Court of Human Rights, which was a plausible idea. The case in the Supreme Court, and indeed in the Court of Appeal, it was all about human rights. Article 4, slavery and stuff like this. The higher courts in the UK, they said, yes, there are issues about this. Her human rights under Article 4 are engaged. But this is the important thing. It doesn't matter so much what the Court of Appeal says, it matters what the Supreme Court says, because that's the highest court. It says she had a case under human rights, international human rights law, Article 4. It wasn't strong enough. It didn't meet the test, the hurdle requirements. It didn't come up to what had already been established in the European Court of Human Rights. It didn't come up to that. It was too weak. The way that they explained was fairly convincing. I felt pretty much on the whole. I take no issue, view, but I thought the Supreme Court decision was quite sound, probably. It was widely reported in the media that her lawyers were going to apply to the European Court of Human Rights, because this was all about human rights. The thing about the British nationality law was left in the background. It had all become about human rights. Article 4, slavery. But Supreme Court was very strong. Said, look, it doesn't meet that threshold at all. It doesn't come up to that level. So, okay, her lawyers said, I saw this in many places, said, we're not going to give up, we're going to fight. We're going to go to the European Court of Human Rights. But they didn't. This was ages ago. They didn't. Not as far as unless you know something that I don't know, Mr. Shaw. They didn't.
They didn't.
Does this mean that they think the case is going to be very weak or what? But they didn't.
Could be lack of instructions. You know.
Well, maybe she instructed them, but I think the case is going to be very weak. We don't know what goes between a client and a lawyer, do we? As you well know. It doesn't appear to be going anywhere. So the position at the moment is that that decision is legally acceptable. She can't come back to the UK because one of the important things about depriving of citizenship, you can't come back, can you? If you don't have British citizenship, you can't come back, can you? And that's the way it went. But this has taken a very interesting political dimension very recently. Donald Trump's administration says they want us to repatriate people like that, because America has done, European countries has done. We should take those people back and monitor them, control them, prosecute them, and stuff. Now, of course, the whole point about deprivation of British citizenship is that you can't come back because you haven't got any right. But now say, oh well, you should let them come back anyway. So if the American opinion is good, which America is very powerful these days, and the British government is trying to be very friendly with America now, despite having said lots of bad stuff about them. So, oh yeah, well, they might have to think about that. So the whole exercise of deprivation of British citizenship might be rendered pointless if we have to take those people back. There is a point here, I think, a serious point. These camps in Syria, I mean, we don't know what's going to happen in Syria now. It's in a political flux. We don't know. And you read lots of different stuff in the media every day. You don't know. Those camps, they hold people, I think it's mostly women and children, but they are strong sympathisers for ISIL, ISIS. It's a hotbed for extremism. We don't know what's going to happen. America says we should take those people back and control them, put them in prison and monitor them, so on and so forth. So really this whole thing's become very political. Can I move on? To people that we talk to, you want to know, how does this work? If you're born a British citizen and you don't have any other sort of citizenship, they cannot deprive you of British citizenship. It's not legally possible. No, I don't mean under international law. I mean under British law, under the British Nationality Act. They cannot deprive you of British citizenship. If you might have another sort of citizenship, they might be able to, but if you don't, they can't. I want to say that very, very clearly.
However, does that not create like two-tier citizenship sort of path? I mean, one can be deprived, one cannot be deprived, although both are British citizens.
Yes. It creates a two-tier scheme.
Not in theory, but in practicality.
No,
because in theory, law it doesn't
say
this sort of thing.
In theory and practically it does. The law says, this is the British Nationality Act 1991, I think section 40, according to my failing memory, you cannot deprive someone of British citizenship if they have nothing else. You read a lot of stuff about international law. It's not important. UK is different from other countries. As soon as we sign an international treaty, we're not bound by it. It's not like other countries. But we have our own national law passed by Parliament. BNA 1981 says if someone's born British and they've got no other
connection.
No other connection. They can't be deprived of their British citizenship. But she did have another connection. Well, arguably, or it wasn't clear, but arguably, she was able to get or acquire Bangladeshi citizenship. Government thought they could do it. After a few years, the court said yes, it was correct. Wasn't necessarily good or harsh or nice, but it was legally correct. So really, I don't think it's going to happen to most of you people, but if you are accused by the British government of having done something really, really bad, terrorism, something like that, extremism, you could be, well, the Home Office could try and deprive you of British citizenship if the grounds are strong enough, but you do have the right to appeal to a tribunal. It depends which tribunal, but you could have the right to. She had the right to tribunal, SIAC, which deals with all these terrorist matters and so forth. It failed. Got all the way through the courts, it failed, but at least you have the right to appeal. The Home Office will have to prove their case to a good, reasonable standard. I mean, it was very, very possible. Shamima Begum, if the court thought the human rights argument was strong enough, it would succeed. If the human rights argument is strong, it can override the other legal stuff. it could override the stuff under the British Nationality Act 1921, but they said it wasn't. But human rights, if it's strong enough, it can overturn, it can push aside others. But always, it's all about proportionality, nuance. If it's not strong enough, it's not going to succeed. On that somber note, Mr. Shaw, do you have any more questions for me?
No, I think it's quite in depth. We spoke about citizenship deprivation. I mean, there are always people who obtain British nationality and they may want to give it up for some other reason. Maybe they're acquiring another nationality.
No, that's renunciation. That's quite different, Mr. Shaw. People can renounce British citizenship if they want to for good reasons. That is quite different. She didn't want to renounce anything. The government, they deprived. It's quite different.
Yes, and even renouncing British nationality is not that easy as people may think.
It's quite difficult. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah,
it's quite difficult,
yes,
and
yes,
you have to have very strong reasons and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. Now, in regards to naturalization, becoming a British citizen, we know a migrant has a long journey usually behind them, full of little obstacles that they have to be careful about when getting to the nationality. When we look at the good character requirement, could you shed some light on that as well and tell us which sort of things one should try to avoid?
I can try. It's become vaguer than it was before. I have a thing in front of me. I can read some words if you can entertain me. A person must be refused, that's mandatory, if they have a custodial sentence of less than 12 months, a non-custodial sentence or out-of-court disposal record on the criminal record. And this is the strange and complicated part. And you're satisfied on the balance of probabilities, whatever that might be, that they are of good character. It's too difficult for someone of my low intellectual level to understand, but it's something like that. The way that it works now, you must declare any convictions, probably in the UK or somewhere at all, and they will make a decision. Probably they will use a reasonable method, but let me say something a bit technical. If it's a UK conviction, you or your clients, they need to look at the Rehabilitation of British Act 1974. This gives you a kind of a table. It tells you when does the conviction get partially wiped off the record. It doesn't get completely wiped off, it's partially wiped off. It's one of these strange English things. Something else I want to say. If you've got CCJs, county court judgment against you, it can count, but a CCJ is not a criminal matter. If you've got one CCJ, lots of people have, you lost a case in the county court, it doesn't mean you're a bad person. It's not a criminal thing, but you must declare it
declare it, exactly.
But if you've got loads and loads of CCJ over a period, like some of my clients, this looks a bit dodgy. Because these rules are not strong, clear, they're not mathematically precise. Home Office caseworker, it's a discretionary decision. You've got loads and loads of CCJs that they might refuse your application.
Sure. I mean, if someone has any issues at all, it's best to take advice, understand the merits of their case before making an application.
Absolutely. Because I think British nationality application is quite expensive, isn't it? Quite a lot now. If it's going to be refused, you're not going to get your money back, are you? You're worth spending a bit of money on a consultation with a good lawyer. So, I mean, I'm sure that you might know some, Mr. Shaw. A good lawyer is my application going to be strong or strongish? Because if it's going to be hopelessly weak, you need to know, because you're just going to waste a lot of money.
Yeah.
But
and
maybe
the fees for naturalisation is probably going to go up as well.
Well, I mean, everything goes up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What goes up? They said what goes up must come down, but that doesn't apply to Home Office fees. They just go up, and what goes up must go up. But basically,
exactly. Awesome. Well, it was lovely speaking with you about this topic today.
It was lovely speaking with you as well.
Fantastic. We'll see you in the next one.
We'll see you in the next one. Take care, stay out of trouble. And also, if I haven't said this to you, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Belated Happy New Year.